My name is Jerry Brazie. Let me tell you about myself. I am child number 7 of 9. My mother had 6 kids when she was 23 years old. Now, check this out. It's not just 6 kids at 23 years old. She brought home a brand new infant and had 5 kids at home. That means that she had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old plus an infant. Slept every other day. My dad was gone for weeks at a time. That's where I got and get my work ethic. My brother and I, 20 months younger than me, 7, 8 years old, stealing food to eat. Remember, I got 6 older brothers and sisters. We grew up in generational institutional poverty. 11 years old, I get my first job, $2.35 an hour. In 1980, I paid taxes working in a restaurant up the street from my house. 14 years old, my older sister dies on her 21st birthday from a disease that ate her heart. 4 months later, I go blind in my right eye. A different virus ate the retina out of my right eye. Almost got my left eye, but I had a very rudimentary laser surgery that saved not only this eye in my head, but also saved the vision in my left eye. Correctable with a contact. It's fantastic. I couldn't be luckier. 17 years old, I'm a street kid, living with hookers and heroin addicts in a $25 a week flop house. Always, though, with a full-time job. 19 years old, I get stabbed coming out of the back of a bowling alley where I'd taken some money off of some guys in a pool game. They caught me. I should have known better. I'm a street kid, but they got me. I got out of that. They stabbed me with a 10-inch screwdriver, but I'm lucky to be alive, and here's why. Glasses always half full. I went blind in my right eye 4 years earlier. When I walked out the back of this alleyway of this bowling alley, behind me, the door didn't close in a timely manner. And in the back of my head, I realized that door didn't close in a timely manner. And instead of turning to my right, my dominant side, because I'm right-handed, right eye, I turned to my left because I can't see out of my right eye. Just as I was having a 10-inch screwdriver stabbed into my back, they were going for my kidneys, going to take back the money they had lost to me. I got out of that, got in my car, this 1972 Datsun B210 with burnt out floorboards, belching smoke, 4-speed, had no idea until I sat in the car that I still had the screwdriver hanging out of my back. Now, I had seen murders, I had seen suicides. I knew what death and destruction looked like. I had an epiphany at 14 years old when I again was taking money out of the bank, and 4 guys got me, put it to me really good, stole that 80 bucks I was taking out of the bank, rolled me underneath of a bus stop. I woke up a couple hours later, again 14 years old, August, Portland, Oregon, take a bus, transfer twice, get off. I have a 1.5 mile walk home. There's an oversized square in the sidewalk right before you go over the interstate freeway. It's still there today. As I hit that oversized square, a voice said to me, back behind me, outside my head on my children's eyes, behind me, "Everything is your fault," it said. "If you don't take responsibility for everything that happens to you, you're going to be like everybody else." I don't know where that came from. I didn't have a pastor, a minister. I didn't have anybody. Jiminy Cricket, God, Confucius, somebody somewhere, a female voice behind my head said to me, "Everything is your fault." It didn't take right away, of course. I'm surrounded by institutional, generational poverty. Everybody's a drug addict. Everybody's pregnant. Everybody's dropping out of high school. It's the way the world works. Again, 17 years old, hookers and heroin addicts. 19, I'm getting stabbed. I'm in my Datsun B210. I'm driving the thing home. Starting to calm down, the pain's starting to hit in. I get in the bathtub, the little tiny crappy 600 square foot apartment that I was living in, and I spent the night 6 hours, Friday night to Saturday morning, pulling that screwdriver out of my back. I was not bleeding profusely. I had been beaten enough. I had seen enough beatings. I had been a part of enough beatings to know what a dangerous wound looked like. Wrapped a towel, the only one I had, around me and hit it with a bunch of duct tape. Monday morning, Macadam Carpet Warehouse, a job I was doing where I would take carpet out of the rafters, bring it down, cut it, put it back. The installers would go to do it. I'm at work on Monday morning because back to my 11 years old, work and food always goes together. 20 years old, I bought a house. I got a mortgage. I read a story that said you need to buy a house. I didn't know what a mortgage was. I didn't know what equity was, and I didn't know what an interest rate was. I didn't know what any of those things were, but I bought that house. 28 years old, I start my first company. We did $4 million. The investors came in and fired me. They didn't have the money. A little thing called cash flow got in the way. Started that first company at 28. They came in and fired me a year to the day that we started that company. And 17 days later, having learned my lessons about how business works, I went out and started my own, this time with no investors. I went to each of my customers and said to them, I need to move you again. Jerry, what are you thinking? I said, well, I'm not done yet. Not only do I need to move you, but I also need to get you to prepay me. See, I didn't know. I didn't know what you didn't know. I'm a poor kid from the street. My idea of a business owner is a dude that carries a briefcase because that's what I saw on television. I went 6 for 6 that day. My business financing was in place. First year I did 4 million, then I did 8 million, then I did 12 million, then I did 14 million. That business has gone on to do hundreds of millions. And overall, I have done $450 odd million over a dozen businesses. I have made fortunes and I have lost fortunes. At 40 years old, I was diagnosed with something called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. It is a 40% block. Mine happens to be obstructive hypertrophic cardiomyopathy in my left ventricle. I've had 2 heart surgeries since then. I have been hospitalized 71 times, believe it or not. I have had hundreds of hospital visits and doctor visits. I was taking 19 pills a day. At 51, November 21st of 21, I'm laying in Williamson County, Tennessee hospital, down with 3.8 pints of blood, on my way out the door having 100 mini heart attacks. And I said, this is not where I come from. This is not who I am. I didn't survive what I survived to go out like this at 300, almost 310 pounds. Can't breathe, can't move. I have unborn grandchildren and I didn't have grandparents. I was not going to do this to my kids. So I decided right there, November 21st, 21, Williamson County Hospital, Tennessee, I am going to live. Or I'm not going out without a fight. January 1st, 2022, 1,750 calories a day, carnivore diet. I quit an opioid addiction that I had had for 25 years, cold turkey. My back, I couldn't walk, I couldn't stand, I couldn't do a video like this. I couldn't stand for more than 2 or 3 minutes. I lost 100 pounds in 8.5 months. By that first day, I did 24 minutes to go a quarter of a mile. I had to stop 3 times. By the 4th month, I was doing 5 miles. By August, the middle of August, I had lost 100 pounds. Started lifting weights in May. Now at 57 years old, I do 4 miles every single day on the road. I lift 6 days out of 7. I do 4 miles every single day. I sauna every single day. I cold plunge every single day. I grew disciplines that I had forgotten because I got fat and happy when my businesses were doing $25 million a year. And now I got to think I've got to be one of the best shape 57-year-olds that you'll ever run across. I remembered who I was. I got back to the basics. And the greatest thing of all is at 28 years old, I had my son, my first son. Never thought I'd have kids. Changed my life, gave me a purpose, gave me a reason to live, I had to go out like a caveman and I had to hunt down a pterodactyl and I had to drive it back and give it to my family and make sure my wife was taken care of and my kids were taken care of, because 2 years later, my beautiful daughter was born, and 2 years after that, my wonderful son. Both sons are in the military. I have dinner with my daughter 3-4 nights a week. The life I have today is unimaginable to a 25-year-old Jerry. I have outkicked my coverage further than you can imagine. If only I had done with my kids what I did. Forget about everything else. Forget about making the fortunes. Forget about losing the fortunes. So at 57 years old today, I'm trying to pass this message on. I want people to understand that regardless of what hits you, what kind of things you come up against, they are survivable and you can thrive. I am who I am because of where I come from and despite it. This is the part that most people miss, and despite it. I have agency. I am my own person. I am not a victim. I will never be a victim, regardless of what happens. I have been in huge fights, both professionally and as a child. Some I win, some I lose, but every single one of them I get up the next day and I go back to work. I appreciate you watching the video. If this inspires you at all, I'm so humble that it would do that. But I want to motivate people to understand and to hear what's possible regardless of where you come from. That is what I am trying to get done. Opportunities are everywhere. You got to go get them, and make sure you go out and go for a walk. Take it from a dumb kid from the streets.